Hey everybody, Janet and I are here back, and we came out and found a really, really cool report that really highlights Utah. So US News goes out and they get all this data and combine it all and essentially come up with a report to say, hey, what's the best state to live in? And they went through all 50 states, and we get to kind of break down the data with you guys. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about what we're seeing. And woohoo, congratulations, Utah. We are number one yet again. 4 years running, we've been ranked number one. And we're in the reason why we're number one, like we're in a lot of top 10. So we'll kind of go down into that and break it down better for you. But as Zach and I were talking about this, we're just, reminiscing. We both have lived in Utah. I have my whole life. Well, that's not true. I was born in California, so I always consider myself a California girl, but moved to Utah when I was 3. So, Zach, have you lived in Utah your whole life?
Yeah, basically my whole life.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, we kind of feel like we're experts in all things Utah since we've grown up here when we work in the real estate market. But one of the things that we were mostly talking about is job stability and the job market and how many businesses are coming to Utah to run their big businesses, small businesses. So many small businesses, so many entrepreneurs. And big businesses, you've got the mini Silicon Slope, you've got Facebook, you've got Microsoft, Adobe, Domo. Is that the other one we were talking about? There, I mean, I could go on and on. There are so many businesses here. Utah's very business friendly, so there's a lot of that. A little kind of inside joke about Utah is like, oh no, is that another multiple, one of those companies where you're going to have to, like doTERRA, where you want to build a team and it's multi-level, and there's a lot of that. There's just so many crazy business opportunities in Utah and so many people that are so passionate about business. So I would say that that is one of the biggest draws, and the people we help a lot of times they are moving to Utah from out of state for business opportunities. Um, but other than that, like you think about all the universities that are in Utah and how that draws jobs because you have BYU, UVU, and then you have U of U, Utah State, Weber State. I mean, great universities, great schooling opportunities. You've got a lot of young people starting out and doing all their things here with schooling. So it's kind of fun. It takes a lot of jobs to get all of those educational systems in place, but Utah has so much to offer. So, Zach, why don't you help us kind of understand some of the rankings here in Utah?
Perfect. So this is all of the data that they compiled. So they looked at these different categories. So you have education, healthcare, economy, infrastructure, opportunity, finance, environment, and crime. And that's like the criteria they're looking at on every single state. So Utah came in first place. South Dakota was second, Minnesota third, North Dakota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Idaho, Florida, Washington, and Vermont. And so it's kind of your top 10 states that are like, hey, these are the ones that, essentially have, you know, the best score essentially. So it's kind of fun to look at. I mean, when I look at it, it just gets me excited because I think about it. I'm like, okay, owning real estate, like I probably wouldn't want to own real estate in a state that says, hey, we have a really slow economy. It's not growing. If anything, it's shrinking. There's not a lot of opportunity here, and education's not, that good either. Like if I was buying in that kind of a state, part of me would be like, okay, is this a good long-term investment? Am I going to get the appreciation? But I kind of feel like Utah has like the deck of cards stacked in our favor in a way that it's like, oh yeah, we do have a robust economy. We have really good education here. Like there's a lot of opportunity, and that just leads to more wealth creation and more opportunities for our specific state. So
Yeah, agreed. Something else about Utah, I would say that we're generally known as a state that's very family oriented. We also are known as being a very religious state. So there's a lot of community, there's a lot of building of connections, and so people who come typically like to come and stay, especially if they're looking for that unity in, and families here tend to be a lot larger, so we have a lot more children per family than other states, and so we see a lot of children leaving and coming back. um, but there's a lot of confidence too here in Utah. Like I said, I mean, it just seems to have a general feel good feeling about it. So, with the economy being so strong here in Utah, obviously that's a huge, huge draw, and the infrastructure is great. I love listening every year. They kind of do a prediction, and I love listening. The U of U has a whole department dedicated to figuring out like what needs to change in Utah to continue to support our growth. Um, Recently, they did a study. They were looking at parking lots, like how much space was being wasted in the back of a parking lot. So, like, they went to Walmart and they're like, well, Black Friday, you used to need the whole parking lot. Now, Black Friday is mostly online. You're like, you don't need the whole parking lot. So they're doing some interesting things where they're like, okay, well, if we made it such that we make some multi-unit housing at the back of this parking lot, they can walk to the store. They can, and they making the, like if you have ability to go onto public transportation really close. So they're making a lot of changes based on that. And I think our traffic patterns are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like half the time you're driving on the wrong side of the road, but they've also done all these studies to make sure that the traffic flows and different things like that. So I love Utah in that I feel like it's always innovative. I feel like we're always looking to improve and grow and figure out what we can do better. Um, so yeah, go Utah.
Perfect. And so as we look at this too, we've got a lot of economic momentum. When we look at Utah, a lot of people are hired by small business, right? I think if we looked at the vast majority, that's kind of the good foundation of Utah is, it's not like we're just dependent on one big company that's here. And if that company goes under, we have issues. It's a lot of small companies that kind of develop that strong foundation. Relative affordability, I mean, at least what I'm seeing on my end as a lender is uh, I would say there's pretty decent wage growth for most people. We're seeing a lot more dual income, I would say, as far as people qualifying. Typically, if they're just coming out of college, we need both spouses to qualify for certain single families homes, and so that's been good. But I'd say overall affordability, we're better than other states, I would definitely say, and that's largely due to our insurance and our taxes being lower than most states. If we start looking at other states, we will see man, taxes are really expensive in some Midwestern states and Texas and just different things like that. And so that's been really, really helpful is just those costs being lower. And then migration, we do see a lot of this. I mean, Janet, I mean, we've helped several clients within the last year as far as, all roads leading back to Utah in a way. Do you want to kind of share with us that story?
Yeah, I so we just helped a really cute little family. It was tons of fun and they're coming home. So they have gone out of state to get higher education and he was offered a fantastic job. And of course, like me being a new grandma, I totally bonded with grandma and grandpa because grandma and grandpa came with us. We were looking at houses, we were doing all the FaceTime stuff to be able to choose a home for their cute, cute family. And they were able to find a home that fit their growing family. So they have 4 children. We found enough rooms and bathrooms and parking space. They have a camper that they like to take out. So we had RV parking, nice backyard. We met all the criteria and they were really comfortable with the schooling in that area, the crime rate in that area. And grandma and grandpa were thrilled because it is so, so close to grandma and grandpa. So I love helping people come back. I love helping new people come, but it's really fun. I think a lot of people who leave get higher education and then they come back for a fantastic job opportunity. So it's really, really fun to be able to have the opportunity. And then if we're going to just go into general, like talking about the market, so we just talked all about how Utah is ranked number 1 and what's going on in the market. I was reading an article this morning and it said that the Utah Real Estate Board president said that we have a bipolar real estate market right now. And I tend to agree. And I think it's because sellers and buyers are just not in agreement. The sellers really want it to be a seller's market. They don't want to make reductions. They don't want to make concessions. Buyers are like, the rates are so high. Like, you need to make a concession for me. Like, you have to do this. And so there's a lot of interesting friction between buyers and sellers. Also, like, how many days the houses are taking to sell because of the interest rate increase. We had this little burst of energy and there was some even multiple offers and prices were going to bump, but then all of a sudden, like, there's been this leveling off. And I think the biggest issue and the biggest mistake you want to avoid is where you're getting your information. about the Utah real estate market. Depending on who you follow, you can get a lot of differing information, which is pretty crazy because I was with a friend and her friend was there. And her friend said to me, well, we're just going to wait. We're going to get a house when the market crashes again. And I was like, well, when is that? And she's like, oh, it's coming. It's probably like a year or 2 years. I mean, she was super knowledgeable. Like she had me confused. And I was like, wait, I've been doing real estate for 21 years. And all of my sources, which are specific to either the real estate, like number one coaching company with Buffini, or like we're looking with the lenders and all of the big wigs who really are studying it day by day. They are not saying that we're going to have a big crash. Like it's impossible. If a third of people own their home outright, a third of people at home don't even have a mortgage. Those who do have a mortgage, 68% of them have almost half equity in their home. So who's going to walk away from that? Like who is going to just, because that's what a foreclosure is. Someone just walks away from their house because there's no value to them in the house. So it's been kind of crazy ups and downs in the market, and I just think that we have to be careful like where we're getting information. So I think it's really important, if you want to know what's really going on in the Utah real estate market, reach out to Zach, reach out to me. We want to help you understand what the next steps are to help you get into a really great house. So Zach, any final comments, last words?
Yeah, another interesting thing that we've been seeing actually is homes that are priced 750,000 or above have actually seen a bump up in volume this year. It's up 14.1% year over year. And so it's kind of an interesting thing right now where we're seeing the older generation, let's call it anywhere from like 50 to 70. Some of those people aren't electing to downgrade, they're actually electing to upgrade. And so we've been seeing a lot of that lately too, as far as just that specific demographic saying, "Hey, let's get to our final house and let's find the perfect one." So if you
I
need
love
help
it.
with that, that's something that Janet and I love helping with.
Yep. Yep. So great. Well, I appreciate you tons, Zach, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks.
Thanks.